Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Practice English with Podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Whether you're listening while you're having breakfast, walking to work, or just relaxing at home, thank you for choosing to spend this time practicing your English with me. Today, we're going to talk about something really important, something that I think every English learner needs to hear. The topic is, your English journey is unique, and that's your superpower. Now, I know that might sound a little unusual at first. You might be thinking, what does that mean, Adam? How can my journey be a superpower? Well, don't worry. By the end of this episode, I think you'll understand exactly what I mean, and I hope it will change the way you think about learning English. Before we start, let me ask you a question. Have you ever compared yourself to other English learners? Maybe you see someone speaking English fluently and you think, wow, they're so much better than me. Why can't I speak like that? Or maybe you see someone learning English faster than you and you feel bad about yourself. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. In my 10 years of teaching English, I've met hundreds of students who feel exactly the same way. But here's what I want you to know. Comparing yourself to others is one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a language learner. And today, I'm going to explain why. Let's start with a simple truth. Everyone's English journey is different, and I mean everyone. Think about it for a moment. When you started learning English, what was your reason? Maybe you needed English for your job. Maybe you wanted to travel the world. Maybe you wanted to watch movies without subtitles. Or maybe you just loved the sound of the language. Whatever your reason was, it was personal to you. It was yours. Now, here's something interesting. The way you learn English is also unique to you. Some people learn quickly by listening to music and podcasts. Other people need to study grammar rules carefully. Some people love to speak with native speakers right away, even if they make mistakes. Other people prefer to study alone until they feel confident. There's no right or wrong way. There's only your way. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I had two students in the same class. Let's call them Maria and Chen. Maria was from Brazil and Chen was from China. They were both beginners and they both wanted to improve their English, but they were very different learners. Maria loved to talk. She wasn't afraid of making mistakes. Every class, she would raise her hand and try to speak even when she didn't know all the words. Sometimes her sentences were wrong, but she always tried. Chen was different. He was quiet and careful. He listened a lot, and he took notes. He didn't speak much in class because he wanted to make sure his sentences were correct first. After 6 months, something interesting happened. Maria could speak English pretty well. She was confident and comfortable in conversations. But her grammar still had many mistakes. Chen, on the other hand, had excellent grammar. His sentences were almost perfect, but he still felt nervous when he spoke. He needed more time to practice speaking naturally. Now here's the question. Who was the better student? The answer is both of them. Maria and Chen were both successful, but in different ways. They had different goals, different learning styles, and different strengths. Maria's superpower was her confidence and willingness to try. Chen's superpower was his careful attention to detail. Neither one was better than the other. They were just different. This is what I mean when I say your English journey is unique. You have your own goals, your own learning style, and your own speed. And that's not just okay. It's actually wonderful. It's what makes you special as a learner. Now, let's talk about comparison. I know how tempting it is to compare yourself to other learners. In fact, it's very natural. We live in a world where we see other people all the time. On social media, on YouTube, in our classes, we see people speaking perfect English, and we think, I wish I could do that. But here's the problem with comparison. It's almost never fair. When you compare yourself to someone else, you're usually comparing your beginning to their middle or their end. Let me explain what I mean. Imagine you've been studying English for 6 months. You still make mistakes and you still feel nervous when you speak. Then you watch a video of someone speaking English fluently and you think, I'll never be that good. But what you don't see is that person's journey. Maybe they've been studying English for 10 years. Maybe they lived in an English-speaking country. Maybe they had private teachers. Maybe they practiced for 3 hours every single day. You don't know their story, so the comparison isn't fair. Here's another problem with comparison. It makes you focus on what you don't have instead of what you do have. When you compare yourself to others, you only see your weaknesses. You forget about your progress. You forget about all the hard work you've already done. And that's really sad because you've probably come so far already. Let me ask you this. Do you remember the first English word you ever learned? Maybe it was hello, or thank you, or yes. Now, think about where you are today. You're listening to this podcast, understanding my words, learning new ideas. That's amazing. That's real progress. But when you compare yourself to others, you don't see that progress anymore. You only see the gap between you and them. And that gap makes you feel bad. There's one more thing I want to say about comparison. When you compare yourself to others, you're using their definition of success instead of your own. But success in English means different things to different people. For some people, success means speaking without an accent. For others, it means being able to have a conversation with a friend. For others, it means reading English books or writing emails for work. Your definition of success is personal to you. So why would you measure yourself against someone else's definition? It doesn't make sense, does it? Okay, so we've talked about why everyone's journey is different and why comparing yourself to others is harmful. Now let's talk about the most important part. Why your unique journey is actually your superpower. First, your unique journey means you have unique strengths. Think about your background for a moment. Where are you from? What languages do you already speak? What experiences have you had in your life? All of these things give you special advantages in learning English. For example, if you speak a language like Spanish or French, you already know thousands of words that are similar to English words. If you speak a language like Japanese or Korean, you might be very good at understanding different levels of politeness in English. If you've traveled a lot, you probably understand cultural differences better than someone who hasn't. These are your superpowers. And nobody else has exactly the same combination of superpowers as you. Second, your unique journey means you can learn in a way that works for you. You don't have to follow someone else's method. You don't have to do what your teacher says if it doesn't feel right for you. You can experiment. You can try different approaches. You can watch movies, listen to music, read books, talk to people online, write in a journal, whatever helps you learn best. When you embrace your unique learning style, you learn faster and you enjoy the process more. That's powerful. Third, your unique journey means you have your own timeline, and that's perfectly fine. Some people learn languages quickly. Other people need more time. There's no race. There's no deadline. You can take as much time as you need. In fact, I would say that learning slowly is sometimes better because you really understand and remember what you learn. When you accept your own timeline, you feel less stressed. You enjoy learning more. And you know what? When you enjoy something, you do it more often. And when you do something more often, you get better at it. So accepting your timeline actually helps you improve faster in the long run. Finally, your unique journey gives you a unique perspective. When you learn English, you're not just memorizing words and grammar rules, you're also seeing the world in a new way. You're connecting your culture
With English-speaking cultures, you're building bridges between different ways of thinking. And because your background is different from everyone else's, your perspective is different too. That makes you interesting. That makes you valuable. That makes conversations with you special and meaningful.
So now you understand why your unique journey is your superpower. But how do you actually embrace it? How do you stop comparing yourself to others and start celebrating your own progress? Let me give you some practical advice. First, focus on your own progress, not other people's level. Instead of thinking, that person speaks better than me, think, I speak better than I did 3 months ago. Keep a journal of your progress. Write down new words you learn. Record yourself speaking and listen to how you sound. Celebrate small victories. Did you understand a YouTube video today? Great. Did you have a conversation in English without using a translator? Wonderful. These things matter. These things are real progress. Second, remember your why. Why did you start learning English? What's your personal reason? Keep that reason in your mind every day. When you feel discouraged, go back to your why. It will remind you that your journey is about you, not about being better than someone else. Your journey is about reaching your own goals, whatever they are. Third, be patient with yourself. Learning a language takes time. It's like growing a plant. You can't make a plant grow faster by pulling on it, right? You have to give it water, give it sunlight, and wait. Learning English is the same. You have to practice, study, and wait. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's normal. That's part of the journey. Be kind to yourself on the difficult days. Fourth, find your own learning style and stick with it. Don't do something just because everyone else is doing it. If you hate flashcards, don't use flashcards. If you love watching TV shows in English, watch TV shows. If you learn better in the morning, study in the morning. Your learning journey should feel good to you. It should feel natural. When it feels right, you'll stick with it longer. And finally, connect with other learners, but don't compare. It's great to have friends who are also learning English. You can practice together, encourage each other, and share tips. But remember, you're not competing with them, you're supporting each other. When you see someone doing well, be happy for them. When you're doing well, be proud of yourself. There's room for everyone to succeed. Okay, we're coming to the end of today's episode, but before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your English journey is unique because you are unique. Nobody else has your background, your goals, your strengths, or your challenges. Nobody else sees the world exactly the way you do. And that's not a problem, that's your superpower. When you embrace your unique journey, learning English becomes easier and more enjoyable. You stop wasting energy comparing yourself to others. You stop feeling bad about yourself. Instead, you focus on your own progress, your own goals, and your own reasons for learning. And that's when real growth happens. So, the next time you feel discouraged, remember this. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be the best version of yourself. You don't need to learn English the way other people do. You just need to find what works for you. And you don't need to reach someone else's level. You just need to keep moving forward on your own path, one step at a time. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope this conversation has helped you see your English journey in a new way. Remember, I'm here to support you on this journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes. And if you have any topics you'd like me to talk about, leave a comment and let me know. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, your journey is unique, and that's your superpower. Until next time, take care and happy learning.